And I see that my mic is not open. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a permitted statute that might be otherwise infringing for entertainment purposes only. While my mic was closed, I did say, "Welcome to the Bear Cave." I'm Teddy. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your mocha, and join me this morning.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sherry John Brown come for you? Tell me what you gonna do, what you gonna do? Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother and you chuck it on your father, you chuck it on your brother and you chuck it on your sister, you chuck it on that one and you chuck it on me. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Nobody now give you no break. Police now give you no break. That old soldier man I give you no break. Not even your eyes now give you no breaks. Hey, hey, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Why did you have the X of me? Don't you know you're a human being? Born of a mother with the love of a father. Reflection comes and reflection goes. I know sometimes you wanna let go. Hey, 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 I know sometimes you wanna let go. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You're too bad, you're too rude, you're too bad, you're too rude, yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother and you chuck it on your father, you chuck it on your brother and you chuck it on your sister, you chuck it on that one and you chuck it on me.
Bad
Bad
boy.
boys,
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? What you gonna do when they come for you? What you gonna do when the U.S. Marshals come for you? Well, they've been given their directive. That's not going to change. The name of this broadcast is Deflection Projection Won't Stop the U.S. Marshal Service. No. Now, I haven't watched any of her videos. I just haven't. This morning, yesterday, whenever I've been busy. But someone sent me a title of the video, okay, and a picture. And I can tell where it would seem that even that part is going. What? Is there supposed to be release of some police footage? Let me just say this in general. I see this as avoidance. So the defendant, Danielle Robertson, has a legal document with her name on it. And the U.S. Marshal Service was given their directive a couple of days ago. And the countdown clock on the right is just counting down to the end of this month with the question that I've asked, turn it down. When will that actually be serviced? So it's a rolling countdown. Okay, let's do this. Stop the flashing lights. It's a rolling countdown. So then this person who is the defendant in this case, they are deflecting. This is my opinion. Deflecting from the service process. U.S. Marshals coming to service a summons. By what they're doing is they've searched and either are going to be showing some police footage. I never defend someone action, specific action when it comes to whatever they've done. If it's, a charge against them, I'm not here to do that. What I'm here to do is talk about this avoidance tactic, okay? And maybe just for a moment, look at the psychology behind this. Why is this defendant trying to deflect attention by bringing up past incidents involving the plaintiff? Why? I think it's because it's an avoidance tactic. It's a psychological tactic, strategy. It might even indicate that the defendant is attempting, let's say, to shift the blame or discredit the plaintiff. I talked about, consequences. Maybe they are doing it. No, I think so. To avoid the legal consequences they are facing. It's a common defense mechanism, projection, deflection, where this individual or others who use this common defense mechanism, it's so that that individual can avoid accountability by redirecting the focus onto the faults or actions of someone else. Yeah, it's a strategy. And I think based on what I've read, it signals a weak defense when substantive responses are lacking. So in the case of the U.S. Marshals, who are tasked with serving the summons regardless, the defendant's actions are unlikely to prevent the service from proceeding. Yeah. Avoidance, deflection, tactic, psychological strategy used to shift the focus away from Danielle's own accountability. This happens. This happens. Especially in legal situations, defendants might bring up something that's unrelated, past incident, or flaws of the plaintiff done to undermine their credibility. This is what is happening. So that the credibility of what's in that summons, what's in the case, she can discredit that by pointing in a different direction. Point at the plaintiff, their past, either prosecutions or what. I haven't looked. It's done to distract from the main issue right now. The clock is ticking down for this part of this phase, and that is the U.S. Marshal servicing. And once they service, it being registered so that people know, the courts know that it's been serviced. I talked about bad behavior, bad behavior. Again, all of this rooted in the desire. It's all about protecting herself from perceived threats. And I do think she sees it as a threat to staying anonymous, the anonymity, maybe the embarrassment or the punishment that she might be facing. Hang on. That's how I see it. Hang on. Let me just go on just for a little bit more about this. It's avoidance of, I think, the inevitability of facing some type of embarrassment or even punishment. So again, Danielle Robertson's attempt to highlight the plaintiff's past also might suggest same thing, dodging legal responsibility. Same thing. Avoidance. That's what it is. Reflects avoidance of confronting their own situation. Maybe there's some fear of facing consequences. Who knows? It would seem reasonable. Follow some type of consequences. The consequence of unmasking that, for a start, for her true identity to be known. Yeah. Does she have a strong defense? If she did, she wouldn't avoid being serviced. Well, we don't know if that's happened yet. According to the documents last night, it doesn't appear that, but it's only been a couple of days, I think. Yeah. So again, it's just resorting to discrediting other party instead of addressing the summons head on, the summons to be. It's psychological warfare. It's understandable. That's what is done. But again, it's unlikely to be effective in preventing any type of legal process. It's simply warfare on of this defendant, Danielle, attempting to uh, involve these tactics, distraction, manipulation, intimidation. I've talked about all of those before. By bringing up an irrelevant issue or focusing, I said, or focusing on the plaintiff's past behavior, then Danielle is likely trying to provoke doubt, fear, what else? Emotional distress in the plaintiff. Shifting the focus away from their own legal obligations, if there is such. Attempting to weaken the plaintiff's resolve or credibility, to cause doubt. This is a tactic. That's what it is. And when you know that's what it is, you stay focused and you keep moving forward. So again, psychological Daniel is trying to destabilize the opponent mentally, hoping to gain leverage. That's what this is. Mental game playing, trying to derail the plaintiffs. That's what it is. That's what it is. I know about this psychological warfare, the games that this individual plays. It's done to, again, suppress, make you fearful, intimidate, so that you'll back away. Yeah. Again, that's my opinion. I'm one person. Deflection, projection, it won't stop the U.S. Marshal Service. I came on very late last night. I did. And let's see what the we've got 45 days to the election. Wow, it's counting down quickly. Now that I've talked about that, let me just come out and say hello, and then we'll get into this interview, a little bit of it, just maybe a few of the questions, talk about it a little bit more. When I came on late, you could probably hear my voice end of the night. Uh, so maybe this morning I can just, can just share my opinion and or hear yours on what you think about specific questions. I pulled the transcript from the interview and kind of, went through it this morning to highlight a few of them. Okay. Shout out to my moderators, Vicky Black and Baby Juju. Welcome. Shout out to anyone who's new coming into the chat. Run tell that too. Follow me on all social media. You can contact me right now at unwindwithteddy@gmail.com. What else that I want to? Yes. Follow me on my other YouTube channels as well. Unwind with Teddy. I'm Natasha with the Sheen and D for Danielle. All right, let me go to the top and read a few of your comments before I continue. Let's see. Yes, please be respectful and mindful of the words you use in the chat. Vicky says, I'm on my way. We've got Vicky Black and Vicky. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Copy, unwind with Teddy. That's what you're gonna do. Let's see. Good morning, Teddy, Baby Juju, Vicky Black, and everyone here on Run Tell That Too. Taurus, good morning. Good morning, Cherry on Top. Rare Group, good morning. Says, looks like we have a copycat on the loose. So I hear, and so I've had evidence of it before. Mm-hmm. It is not uncommon to see things that I've done, my own creativity, as it were, copied by an individual on this platform. Let's go here. Cheryl, good morning, says, if you understand narcissism, you recognize that deflection is a key tactic in their behavior. That's what we're talking about, behavior. That's why I'm pointing it out, behavior. Happy Friday, Teddy and everyone. Yes, it's Duckery Friday. We're going to get right to it. Well, she's done this before. Yes, obtain police cam footage just for content. Yeah. It's done, or what I've seen and experienced, to humiliate, intimidate, all of the things I've already mentioned as part of that tactic. Yeah. Distract. Content. Harassment. And as a reminder, this person recently sent over 200 pages to my attorney claiming that they are being harassed and they don't, pointing out all the videos. They don't point out what they're doing. They don't point out that they dig up information and post videos. And, I've mentioned that before too. It's for education. It's for awareness. It's to shed light on the situation. I do it in such a way that, well, you guys know how I've been telling this story. Rare Groove says no one knows her past, so it's down or up to Kimmy what she does once she has obtained the receipts. Yeah. Shifting the focus off her and attempting to change the narrative. There is way too much evidence for her to possibly win. She's been lost. Facts. It's not going to stop the process from moving forward. That's my point. Or one of my points. Okay. That's all she does is copy. That's all she does. Copy themes, copy avatars, copy, or try to destroy what someone else has so that they can bring up their target's idea and make it appear like it's their own. So silence or shut down channels and then come up with something similar. That's so it gives a certain appearance. Yeah, without any type of creativity on their own. Yeah, you can use ideas. I can't stop anyone from doing anything, but I can just point out the hypocrisy behind it. Okay, let's check emails real quick, just real quick. Okay, so we're good. Should I at least show the headline of the news? Oh, great. So this is that uh, North Carolina GOP nominee for governor. You can see him there shaking hands with Trump. Well, they apparently have some type of receipts where he has made some scathing remarks, racist and otherwise, on an adult website. Okay. Maybe we'll get into that later. Live updates on Israel and the 2024 race. Let's just do that. The latest, of course, is that sit down last night with Vice President Harris and Oprah Winfrey. Countdown to election. Widespread early voting begins Friday in Minnesota, South Dakota, and Virginia. Let's turn that off. South Dakota and Virginia in those states. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy pledged Thursday that the U.S. Postal Service will undertake heroic efforts. There's going to be a lot of mailed in ballots this time. Remember the last time there was this loss, supposedly, of these ballots? Boxes and boxes of ballots that went missing. So, Vice President Kamala Harris set to travel to Georgia to deliver remarks on women productive or reproductive rights. She talked about women's reproductive rights last night with Oprah. Her campaign said, and will later travel to Wisconsin for a campaign event on Saturday. Former President Donald Trump will hold another rally in Wilmington, North Carolina. Courting the voters, Trump claimed at an anti Semitism event Thursday that, I'm just quoting, the Jewish people would share the blame if he loses in November. That's a tactic as well, scare tactic. Meanwhile, Harris joined Oprah Winfrey and a host of Hollywood stars in an online rally last night to win over persuadable voters. What is the latest update? Let me just refresh. I'll just touch on maybe one or two. Yeah, that the remarks that are still being made about the migrants, the legal migrants in Springfield, Ohio. The governor, Mike DeWine, calls out Trump and Vance on this. Ohio Republican Governor Mike DeWine is calling out former President Donald Trump and others who continue to push baseless rumors about the city of Springfield and its residents, saying, as a supporter of former President Donald Trump and Senator J.D. Vance, I'm saddened by how they and others continue to repeat claims that lack evidence and disparage the legal migrants living in Springfield. We all know what is being referenced. That debate last week between himself and Kamala Harris when he talked about the eating of pets. And that's still being said, which is I don't know, sometimes I don't even know what the right word. I've used words for it, but in just disbelief that that is a tactic being used right now. Okay. Oh, all right. Let's just, this will be a segue in to the Oprah Winfrey sit down. So 38 minutes ago, Harris answers some of the voters' most searched questions in a new digital interview. And I've been searching her questions as well this morning. Vice President Kamala Harris sat down for an interview on Wednesday where she answered a variety of frequently online search questions, including if she has children, which comes at a time when Donald Trump's allies in recent weeks, has been digging um, at the cat women and women who do not have biological children. The question Harris read aloud: does Kamala Harris have kids? She said, yes, I have two. Cole and Ella became my cherished children. Doug, my husband, I was very clear with him that when we started dating, I wanted to see how this thing was going to go before I would meet their two children. That's Cole and Ella. She continued by saying, I'm a kid of divorced parents, which is, she mentioned that. It was important to make sure that when I developed a relationship with the kids, that it would be lasting. So you can see by doing that, it wasn't a selfish move just to date her now husband, but she was considering the children, even considering the mother of the children, the relationship. She says, I love those kids to pieces. They are my children, and I'm very proud of them. Well, on Tuesday night, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders renewed controversy over how allies of the former president talk about stepmothers and childless women when she told Trump supporters that Harris doesn't have anything to keep her humble. Do you need children? In this case, to keep her humble. Humble. Some say humble. The 10-minute interview covered a wide range of topics focusing on Harris's policy plans, last week's presidential debate, women's reproductive rights, and celebrity endorsements. In the latest example of campaign's aggressive approach ahead of November, which includes Harris engaging in more media interviews in swing states. Okay. Let me go. How does the New York Post, and that's the one I'm going to be focusing on this. It is still morning. So, Kamala Harris attended and sat down with Oprah Winfrey last night for Unite for America. It was live streamed. It was a campaign event hosted by Oprah Winfrey on her YouTube channel. So Oprah Winfrey has a new YouTube. You can see her there. I'm going to leave that up The headlines is Kamala Harris gets called out by Oprah Winfrey for dodging questions at Michigan campaign event again, offers no proposals. You can see her walking in there where she's shaking the hands of members of the audience. Okay. That's Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. It was held in Farmington Hills, Michigan last night. So let me see what they had to say. I think I pulled it onto my side so I can refer to it. Plus, I have the very first question. It came about, let's see, 42 minutes into the broadcast. So much is at stake in the election. And the ultimate question before us is what kind of country do we want to live in? This is Oprah speaking, and the beauty of democracy is long. As we can hold on to the beauty of it. Each of us has the power, right to answer that question. That's right, everybody on this call. So she had all of these people lined up that you could see on either side of them. Now, wait a minute. Let me see if I can just hold a still. Hang on. Let's try this again. Even if I have to just, let's move it on silence. Okay. So Oprah Winfrey started off by saying, can I start with this? Yes, please. I have to say this because in all of my private conversations, and I'm quoting, Gail and I have said this 100 times, and everybody is saying it. You have all said it. I know you have seen it, or it seems to us that something happened. And I mentioned that last night. Her appearance, the momentum since Joe Biden stepped aside and withdrew his candidacy, that Oprah Winfrey said that a veil or something dropped and you just stepped into your power. Literally looking at you, she said, looking at her speech. It was a great speech and very nice. How Kamala Harris responded, we each have those moments in our lives where it's time to step up. Time to step up. So she was taking leadership right there, showing that she realized the gravity, realized the responsibility that was ahead of her. She said, you step up. It's time to step up. And you know, well, the moment you heard, I mean, I really have been saying to people, it felt like a veil dropped and you sort of stepped through that veil and did it and actually did it feel like, Oprah saying, that I felt a sense of responsibility to be honest with you, she says, and with that comes a sense of purpose and meaning. But I want to go to the question that seemed, well, there were several. This one was when Oprah Winfrey, can I just put something else on? I can't seem to get it to pause, okay? Let's just leave this one. Came when Oprah Winfrey had just finished talking about the non-Haitian families and everybody having to deal with this lie and how it has endangered the lives of Haitian people, and the vice president also acknowledging all of that and how it looks to everybody in America and how it's making Americans feel. That she turned her questioning to an individual. His name was Justin. Okay. Let me see if I have a picture of this person. Justin. There he is. I pulled it up on my Twitter. Okay. You can see Kamala Harris there. But this is how the conversation went. So Oprah says, and I'm told that Justin, where are you in the audience? Justin, hello. In our audience, quoting, hello, Madam Vice President. You live in Michigan. Yes, ma'am. Don't love saying hello, ma'am, Vice President. I do. What's your question? All right. So Oprah's asking this young man. It's an immigration question. For you is, yes. So here's the question that Justin asked. When you be asked of Vice President Harris, when you become president, what would you do? What would be your specific course, your specific steps to strengthening the border? And Vice President Kamala Harris responded first by saying, so it's a wonderful and important question. I think it's important also to listen. This is, who posted this? Someone, so let me acknowledge this is Rodriguez posting a clip from that interview last night. Let me see if I can just play a little bit of the audio. Let me just pause it here, make sure that my mic is. And tell me what you think about. Tell me what you think about how this question was asked, answered. I see Jennifer Love Spewitt is in the audience or in the chat. Oh, you've already said this was the immigration question that I said last night. She keeps using the same answer and people want to hear more. So this is fair use commentary. This is for education. I'm having to clarify over and over. And for those of you who follow me, you know why. Okay. So let's take a listen in to this young man's question and how Vice President Harris responded. Turn this up. Where's my fair use commentary banner? Let me put that
on. When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief, which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here. So I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have
I'm just going to pause it right there, kind of halfway through her response, because that there is a lot to unpack. So let me go back and look at this, the beginning of her response. Right now she's talking about the border agents and endorsing the bill, that it would have allowed us to, she said, stem the flow of fentanyl. So she's explaining or talking about things that would have happened, but his question was how she was going to address. But it seems in the beginning that she's giving some background, but she starts by talking about her being a prosecutor. Hang on, guys, I'm trying to highlight while I'm going as well. Just 1 second, so I don't lose my place here. So she starts about her being a prosecutor when she was elected. Then she talks about actually her work prosecuting transnational criminal organizations. Started talking about the trafficking of human beings and guns and drugs. Would that implicate, or she's saying that she takes very seriously how important it is to secure? So acknowledging the importance, ensuring the safety of American people. Okay. And there go. I thought I had my phone turned on. Then she talks about this security bill. She says, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans. I'm just going to let that stop here. Of course, it was a spam call. I wonder who is spamming my phone. All right. So the vice president is talking about members of Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans. She starts talking about this border security bill and what the border security bill would have done. Okay, let's listen.
have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations. And it would have been part of the solution. And Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill, and you know why?
Why?
Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And he has put his personal political security before border security. Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support to folks who care about this issue. And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people?
Right.
Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
So that is when Oprah Winfrey, and I will play it all the way through, stepped in and gave her comment to readdress or kind of redirect what will you do to answer Justin's question. Who is on mute? She's on mute. Let me know that you can hear me. I better do that. I see something. Jennifer says, all that is all true. I just feel like we have heard her say that before. But I also need to remember that most people, true, don't watch everything like I do. But I don't think Oprah had to redirect her. Do you mean that in a way like she was going to get to it? Or do you mean by saying that that wasn't called for? Necessary? Which way? Okay. Let me look at the transcript again real quick. Right now. Okay. She's talking about, the flow of drugs and how tragic it is for the kids in the country and the families. And then it's here where she talks about, in terms of its effect, the bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations, and it would have been part of the solution. And Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor. So then it's because of Donald Trump that killed that idea. So you see, she's talking about the bill and then switches to Donald Trump. That's true. By in and of itself, by her saying that, and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill. And you know why? Then she asked Justin that and answered, he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And he put his personal political security before border security. Okay. And then she went on to talk about that. And then it's Oprah who stepped in. I'll just say and chimed in or said, after she said that, she said, to answer Justin's question, now that the bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that? And she said, absolutely. And when I'm elected president of the United States, I will make sure that that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law. So actionable, commitment, spoken, what she's going to do to address what's going on with immigration. So let's hear that one more time without interruption.
When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on.
Okay.
I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief, which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here. So I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations. And it would have been part of the solution. And Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill, and you know why?
Why?
Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And he has put his personal political security before border security. Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support to folks who care about this issue. And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people?
Right.
Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs, because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
Thank you.
I like your response. So Jennifer says, I think she was going to get to it because she has made it clear she would sign that bill into law. I don't think Oprah was overstepping, just trying to move it along so that they could get to the other question. I can certainly appreciate her taking her time and giving some background to make, to answer the questions. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. That makes sense. Okay. Overall, I thought that Vice President Harris did a really good job at answering the questions, at showing empathy toward the various families and those that she had in her audience to tell, that Oprah had in her audience to tell their stories to the American people. Let me just see if I can go to something else here. Let's put this back up. Let me do this. Where's my coffee cup? Hang on. Let's play one song. And day one, I love this one. I'm going to play it again. And I will bring up my coffee cup.
Yeah, can we please have Gabe start by himself?
Just because you're my day one doesn't mean you're the right one. I have to keep my options open. For you to come to your senses, been on it since we was kids. You taught me how to French kiss. Now you so cold with your business, but you still don't know what love is. Love is more than feelings, it's choices. Why we so indecisive? All these years later, still the same. Running, open cycle, but before it closes, I want you to want me, ask me to be more in your life. But if you did, would I run? 'Cause you've been here since day one. You had me from day one. You could have been chosen. I won't be sloppy seconds. My day one. Just because you're my day one doesn't mean you're the right one. I have to keep my options open. For you to finally get serious about me, we never gonna be official. Playing games so childish, late night creeping on some boat. Let's just say goodbye to benefits and be friends. Wanted you to want me, ask me to be more in your life. But if you did, would I run? 'Cause you've been here since day one. Yeah, you had me from day one. You could have been chosen. I won't be sloppy seconds. My day one never took me out. What is that all about? I should make you proud. I'll take my love out loud from day one. Yeah, you had me from day one. Oh, you could have been chosen. I won't be sloppy seconds. My day one.
Right. So Jennifer seems to agree. She did a great job. I like that in certain spots. After she settled in, her true personality came out, and that she is compassionate and empathetic and not about herself. I said it last night. She came across as genuinely caring for people. That's how she struck me. And it's been apparent the more she has been out and spoken amongst the people. Okay. I did say I would cover just a few more things that was written in the New York Post. So we've gone over that one glaring Justin's question. All right. Let me see this one. Just looking through them. Vice President Harris also reiterated that she would offer new homeowners the $25,000 for their down payment, increase tax deductions for new small business owners, and the child tax credit. Winfrey, who had endorsed Harris and delivered a speech, you recall, at the DNC a month ago, remarked that she has been more active and more swagger since President Biden bowed out of the race. We each have those moments when we step up. Let's see. I want to just quote a few things that the former president said. Regarding that, just delivered her new economic plan, and boy, oh boy, it's good for small businesses. Harris is going to announce tomorrow, of course, we talked about the $25,000 tax credit for the first-time buyers. When I'm elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans. So there was a Rachel and Garrett joining on a Zoom from Pennsylvania. And Oprah saying, I understand your sister and brother-in-law moved in and you're hoping to save money to have a second child. That's right. Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. This couple is responding. It's nice to be with you. Yes. Hi. And so what did you want to say to the Vice President? So, Madam Vice President, we are like many, many young Americans just experiencing a very high cost of living. We ended up giving up our apartment, moving in with our parents, who were so gracious to take us in for over a year, just so that we could save money and ultimately buy a home, because that's what we thought the American dream was, to get married and buy a home and have a baby. And now here we are, and our mortgage is incredibly higher than what we thought it would be. And my sister and my brother-in-law are living with us right now so that they can hopefully move one day to do the same. And while beneficial for us because they help us pay off some of our mortgage, it's also beneficial for them because they can save on cheaper rent. But we really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living. And so then she responds, I first thank all of you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel, in terms of both rightly having the right to have the aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is for this generation. And so many recently far more elusive than it has been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities. So part of her economic plan, including groceries. So that's why she says, I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during the pandemic, extreme weather, and they end up jacking up the prices, and there needs to be accountability and consequences. So I'm going to be taking on price gouging, but it's also about dealing with what we need to do around home ownership. Right. So, as someone mentioned during this film, and then she talks about this other person growing up as a child of a mother who worked very hard, and Vice President Harris is relating her upbringing, being raised by her, then her parents divorced, her mother raised her and her sister, and she had to save up. And by the time she said she was a teenager, that her mother was able to buy a home. So empathizing with this couple, understanding what her parents or her mother went through to save up enough money. On top of that, the cost of child care. So she says, so I'll bring all this together to tell you that the way I think about it is one, when people work hard and have a dream of buying a home, we should give you the opportunity to be able to do that, which is why part of my plan is for first-time homeowners, again, to have that $25,000 down payment assistance to buy their home. What else does she say about that? I'm just kind of skimming over. To be able to get their foot in the door and then do the hard work. Part of my plan is what we need to do. So again, how she addressed some of the questions that were put in front of her, asked by the audience, I thought she did a good job. I'll read a few more of your comments. You can email me right now at unwindwithteddy@gmail.com. It's 11:45, close to the time that we should be wrapping up the broadcast. Let's see if we have, people are looking into their crystal balls and making forecasts, I see. Which, it's not a bad idea when it comes to the election and or my channel. I hear you. I see. Okay. All right. A few more of the comments. Jennifer says this couple did irritate you. They obviously didn't research how much their mortgage would be, and they are house poor by their own choices. You also say that the couple said they want to have a second child. You can't afford your house, and so how can you afford another child? If you look at economics only, but for this couple, and I'm just going to say this and just speculate, that they might want to have their second child, close in age. And some parents do this. I know I've heard this before. They want to have their children close in age so they have a playmate at home, and so they can raise them both, rather than having someone in diapers and then waiting until that child grows into elementary or what, and then go through the diaper period. Again, they'd rather, take all of that together. Say have two children close in age, they grow up together, they go through the same kind of period, and they're out of that stage, like, go through the 4 years or whatever together. Does that make sense? But I can definitely see your point. If you can't afford a house, how are you going to afford another child? Well, this is what young couples are struggling with. And these are the questions that they have. And they see that their parents, right, were able to have a house and maybe more than 2 children, 3 or 4 children. Or maybe the younger generation that's coming up and having children of their own right now, maybe 3 children. When I was growing up, it was not uncommon to see households that had more than 3 children. It was very, very, very common to say, 4 children. And then people didn't look at families of more than 2 children as if aghast. Oh, like it's a large family. 3 or 4 children, like it's not normal. Yes. Yes, I see your response or comment. Cherry on top says, times have changed. Things are expensive now more than ever. So then they can't have both, or shouldn't they be able to have both? Or they're just saying, or Vice President Kamala Harris, doing things to help offset the cost so that younger couples such as themselves, or the ones that were making the comments to her, can have the children, can have a more affordable mortgage. Yeah. $25,000 to help to assist the cost of buying a new home. That would have been nice for a lot of young families. Just imagine. For anyone, you don't have to have a family, okay? She said for new home buyers, right? That would have been great when I bought my first home. Yeah, $25,000. Now you have to take into account inflation. So then when I bought my first home, and you know what, maybe I'm just talking a little bit too much about my own personal. So when people who were growing up in my same time, who wanted to buy a home, would have had the extra. Yeah, because you can use $25,000, well, now, to furnish, depends on how you furnish your home, $25,000 could definitely help to furnish maybe 2 or 3 rooms, depending on the kind of furniture. Yeah. If you're buying new furniture, you could furnish an entire home for $25,000 if you were smart and knew how to find really great pieces and do it eclectic, like a mix, perhaps. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, what else before I dive off into something more personal? Jennifer says, I feel like it's a twofold problem. One, College puts young people so far in debt now that it makes things much harder. True. Two, you say that you had roommates when you were younger and that you worked 2 jobs for extra spending money. And you know what? I applaud that. I've worked just to do the same thing, to have extra spending cash. Yeah, when I was younger. There's nothing wrong with that. And some students work while they're in school. I've done that too, while in college. Why not? Yeah. Maybe it's kind of back to some hard work and maybe sacrifice, that you can't have everything right away. That yes, you might have to start off in a tinier apartment than you had planned for your young family, and maybe stay in an apartment for maybe 1 or 2 extra years. I know it's great, when you want children to have that fenced off yard where they can play and, have the dog running around, and it's perfect. It's picture perfect, right? All families that have 2 children don't have that luxury, and sacrifice and hard work for it. That there's nothing wrong with that, right? Get your bills down so that you can afford other things, right? Yeah. Daycare, how about that? The cost of daycare is, I don't know how some of these parents do it. I really don't know, when the mothers have to go out and work along with the dad or vice versa. The amount of money that they earn, more than half of that, sometimes it seems, goes toward just childcare. It's not cheap. Childcare is not inexpensive. And to find a good daycare that will even, have a space to bring in your child. This is the things that I hear that young, mothers, and I should say mothers, parents have to deal with. It's not just mothers, it's the parents. I cannot imagine that. Yes, so she's addressing that. Let's see. Cost of daycare is crazy. Republicans let the $6,000 child care or child tax credit expire and refuse to reauthorize it. It's about how people are going to vote with their pockets. It's still number one. It's the economy. It's still going to be that. All right. We're just about at 12 o'clock. I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate all of you who joined me for this morning's Mocha. Deflection, projection, won't stop, U.S. Marshal Service, and we touched on some of the important issues that were topics of discussion last night between Oprah Winfrey and her guest, Vice President Kamala Harris. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. On your way out, if you care to, give this broadcast a thumbs up, subscribe, and I hope to catch you all later tonight. All right. If I didn't get to your question or concern, I'll look over the chat. One last one here for the T says, my nephew is what? An at-home dad because Daycare is so expensive, it's cheaper for him to stay at home. He does Uber at night. Yes, have a great Friday, all of you. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the Grizzlies. I've said it all. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Have a great Friday afternoon.
나연이 내게 보낸 reels 하나둘씩 클릭해보는 너의 생각들 yeah. Look at me baby you and me 하루 종일 혼자라도 not only lonely How close to me baby just like a dream yeah. 따뜻한 너의 품 고개 들어 이렇게 눈 맞추면 You make me go crazy all the little things you do You're my teddy bear, teddy bear 나는 사랑과 내게 쳐도 좋아 You're my teddy bear, teddy bear 내가 너의 품 나는 원해 너의 눈 The sweetest 누군가 나에게 어디가 그렇게 좋냐고 물어보면 난 이렇게 대답할래 내게 10번의 기회가 있다도 너에게 오는 해가 2번 아니 3번 뜰 때까지 너의 옆에 Come close to me baby just like a dream yeah 이런 남자면 I wanna know everything about you 살짝 몰래 내게 입 맞추면 You make me go crazy all the little things you do You're my teddy bear, teddy bear 나는 사랑과 내게 쳐도 좋아 You're my teddy bear, teddy bear 내가 너의 품 나는 원해 너의 눈 The sweetest It might be too early to say But I found the love of my life, my life 너도 나와 같은 맘인걸 The way you make me feel is gonna change the way I used to be 잊혀질 환상일까 두려워하는 나의 손을 잡아줄 거란 뜻을 알아 Baby take my hand You're my teddy bear, teddy bear 나는 사랑과 내게 쳐도 좋아 You're my teddy bear, teddy bear 내가 너의 품 나는 원해 너의 눈 The sweet You're my teddy bear, my teddy bear 이대로 시간이 멈춘데도 좋아 You're my teddy bear, my teddy bear 부드러운 너의 품 나만 원해 너의 눈